Once upon a time, in a quiet village, there lived a man named David. David was kind, hardworking, and loved by many. He worked as a carpenter and built houses for the people in his village. He had a peaceful life, and everyone thought he was a good man. But David had a secret that no one in the village knew. David was married to women, but neither of them knew about the others. His first wife, Clara, was a gentle and caring woman. They had met when they were both young. They fell in love quickly and married soon after. They lived in a small cozy house at the edge of the village. Clara loved David deeply and trusted him with all her heart. She was happy in their marriage, and they had two children together, a son named Tom and daughter named Lily. Life seemed perfect for Clara. But there was something that Clara did not know. David, despite being a loving husband to her, had another wife, Sarah. Sarah was a man David had met years after marrying Clara. Sarah was strong, independent, and worked as a teacher at the local school. David had met Sarah when he was repairing a roof at the school. They became friends and soon their relationship grew into something more. They fell in love and without telling Sarah about his marriage to Clara, David married her as well. Sarah lived in a different part of the village in a large house and had no idea that David was already married to Clara. Years passed and David continued to live his double lives. He would spend weekends with Clara and weekends with Sarah. He was careful not to let either woman find out about the other. He kept his secret. I always making sure that he spent time with one wife when the other was busy. For a long time it seemed as if David could keep his secret forever, but as time went on, things started to change. David's children grew older and they started asking more questions about their father's life. Clara and Sarah began to notice stranger things, but they could put their finger on what was wrong. Clara sometimes wondered why David would be away from the weekend, and Sarah occasionally asked why David did not visit her during the weekends. But David always had an excuse. They trusted him. One day, when David was away on a business trip, Clara decided to visit Sarah. She had heard from a friend that Sarah was hosting a school event and she thought it might be a good opportunity to meet Sarah. Clara had heard her name before but had met her in person. She wanted to know more about this woman who seems to be important to David. She told her children that she was going to visit a friend and would be back soon. Clara arrived at Sarah's house, and when Sarah opened the door, they both stood there for a moment, surprised. Clara looked at Sarah, and Sarah looked at Clara. They had never met, but there was an instant feeling of something being wrong. Clara smiled nervously and said, "Hello, I am Clara. I am friend of David's wife, and I thought I would come by and say hello." Sarah looked confused for a moment, then smiled. "I am Sarah. I am married to David, and David with you." Clara had stopped. "What did you say?" she asked, her voice shaking. "You are married to David." Sarah affirmed, "Yes, I have been married to David for several years. In there something wrong." Clara felt like the ground beneath her feet was slipping away. She could not believe what she had just. She tried to stay calm but could not. "I am his wife too." Clara whispered. I have been married to him for a year, but he never told me about you. Sarah stared at Clara, her face slowly turned pale. What do you mean, you his wife? Sarah asked, her voice trembling. David had been married to you all this time. Clara nodded, feeling stirred, filled her eyes. Yes, she has. We have two children together, son and a daughter. But I had no idea about you. The two women stood there in a shock, unable to believe what they were hearing. The world around them seemed to stop, and the silence between them was heavy. Sarah slowly sank into a chair, feeling overwhelmed, but she was faithful to me. He never mentioned you. Clara shook her head, trying to understand what had happened. I cannot believe this. I trusted him with everything, and he lied to both of us. For hours, two women talked, exchanging stories about their lives with David. They discovered that they had been living in the same village for a year, never knowing about each other. They both loved David deeply, but now they realized that their love had been built on lies. They shared their pains, their hurts, and their disbeliefs. Neither of them knew what to do next. Finally, Clara stood up. We need to confront him, she said. We need to know the trust. He cannot keep lying to us. Sarah agreed, thought her voice was filled with sadness. Yes, we need to talk him. Cannot keep doing this. That evening, David came home from his trip, unaware of what happened. When we walked into the house, Clara and Sarah were waiting for him. He stopped in his truck when he saw them both sitting together. What in this? David asked, looking confused. Why are you? Clara and Sarah stood up together, and for the first time, David saw the hurt in their eyes. David, Clara said quietly, we know everything. We know about each other. David face turned pale. He had never imagined that his two wives would find out. He tried to speak, but no words came out. His heart was pounding, and he knew that the moments of trust had come. David, Sarah said softly, how would you do this to us? How could you lie to both of us all this year? David looked at them both, his heart heavy with regret. I did not mean for this to happen. I never wanted to hurt either of you. I love you both. But you did not love us enough to be honest, Clara said, her voice breaking. You kept us both in the dark. You kept us from knowing the truth. David tried to explain, but the word felt empty. He had no excuse for what he had done. He had betrayed both women, and there was nothing he could say that would take away their pain. After months of talking and crying, David realized that this life had fallen apart. Clara and Sarah could not forgive him, and he knew it. The two women left that night, each of them heartbroken, each of them feeling like a fool. David was left alone in his house, was nothing but the emptiness of his choice. For that day on, David tried to fix the mess he had made, but the damage was too great. He lost both women, and the guilt he cried was heavier than any burden he had ever known. He had once thought that he could love two women at the same time, but he learned the hard way that love built on lies could never last.